everyone, I'm Karen and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. Now I got this wonderful book, spoiler, from our local library, so I don't have a copy to show you, but this is the gorgeous cover insert here. Now this is a contemporary YA book. It's published by Ink Road Publishing, which is like a smaller independent publisher here in the UK, and I don't know when I first heard about this book, to be honest. I think it was probably somewhere on Twitter, and it's always been on my list. I've always wanted to get Akemi down for an event here in Cardiff, but we haven't managed it just yet. Fingers crossed for the future. And so when I saw it in my library, I was like, yes, now's the time to read it. The book centers on Kiko Himura, who is a half Japanese, half American teenager. She doesn't have the easiest of home lives. Her mother is very controlling. She's very kind of egotistical, basically. Now Kiko's not very confident except when it comes to her art, when she does her art for herself. And so she dreams of applying to Prism, a prestigious art school in New York. And so this is kind of Kiko's dream and her hope. That's what she kind of wants to do. She wants to get out of the town she's born into. She wants to go to New York and start her life properly. But then she doesn't get into Prism. She gets rejected, and around the same time her abusive uncle moves back into the house. So when she gets an invitation from a childhood friend to have a look at art schools on the West Coast as kind of a backup, now that she's been rejected from Prism, she jumps at the chance and finds kind of a different place in life for herself. I absolutely love this book. It's really weird, and it's taken me a while to make this video because this book was so relatable to me. I was that kid that was 16 or 15 and dreaming to go to drama school, to move to the UK and, you know, start my own life, and that's kind of happened, but it hasn't exactly turned out the way I initially expected it. But it was so lovely. The way Akemi writes about teenagers and how she gets into Kiko's head is just amazing. I mean, who hasn't had this happen to them, that they have a conversation with their parents, it does not go well, and then afterwards you just obsess over and over and over again about what you should have said. And this is exactly the thing that she does in the book. And I loved Kiko as a character. She was at once quite self-aware, but at the other hand, she was still very much a teenager and still very much trying to find her way, and not quite ready to let people into her life, and not quite ready to let them see her real self. And so it becomes a journey for her to be more confident with herself, be more confident in her art, in her life as an artist, but also to actually stand up to her mum. And that relationship is so heartbreaking in this book, but at the same time it is so full of hope. I was literally crying with like happy tears when Kiko chooses herself and her own sanity and her own kind of security over whatever tantrums her mother had come up with at that point in time. It felt so empowering to, I don't know, tell the story of someone who doesn't have the best support system at home at all. She's quite estranged from her brothers. So to then actually find a found family, nearly, and to kind of get the right support. It was just such a lovely book, okay, you guys? Okay, so a couple of elements that I just want to touch upon without kind of telling you too much. Again, let's not spoil you. It has an amazing representation of social anxiety, and I thought it was very well done in that it was realistic and very present without being heavy-handed. So if you're looking for a book that kind of covers with that, you will love this book. It also talks a lot about what it feels like to be biracial and to not know a lot about, in Kiko's case, her Japanese heritage, and kind of feeling like you're in between cultures and don't really fit in one way or the other. Thirdly, it talks about quite bad emotional abuse by a parent. Kiko's mom is horrible. Like, honestly, she's horrible. And not just is she emotionally abusive, but she's also very racist, which, as you can imagine, is very painful to her biracial daughter. Like, it's, yeah. I also really loved how art, and especially Kiko's process in making art, and how she connects the things that happen to her in her sketchbook. Those descriptions were so vivid and so nearly visual, like you could imagine and like completely see what she was painting or what she was drawing, and it was just absolutely fascinating. I mean, I am not an artist myself, far from it, but it felt as if you were being given like a little insight into an artist's mind, which I thought was amazing. And finally, I really loved the representation of friendship in this book. You first see Kiko with her friend Emery, who then gets accepted quite early on to a different university, and then Kiko reconnects with her childhood friend Jamie, and they are so adorable. They like choose cinnamon buns, and there is a lot of like non-communication in this book, which to me was very frustrating, but at the same time was also really realistic, because most of the non-communication either stemmed from Kiko's social anxiety or just from them being teenagers. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where even now, me as a grown-ass woman, I'm not always the best of communicators when it comes to certain emotional issues. And so in that way, it was really well done. Also really liked how Kiko was determined not to be just reliant on anyone or use anyone as a crutch. She really wanted to develop herself, not just as an artist but as a person as well, and I thought that was such a beautiful message. And again, it wasn't preachy, it was just a really nice little thing that was just kind of sprinkled in there. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. Do let me know down below in the comments if you've read this book, or if you've read any of Akemi's other books. I think her second book's just come out, and there's a third one coming, and it's just announced that she's going to bring out a sci-fi book as well, so I can't wait to read more by her. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, you know, because I do make videos occasionally. And I'll talk to all of you very soon. Bye.